So, Leicester Tigers vs Saracens, arguably the biggest game of the season so far, is upon us. This is absolutely huge in our top four aspirations, make or break our season really. I think if we get a win, obviously it keeps us in touch with top four, but I think it really builds the momentum, similar as the Sarries game did last season at home, when we kind of beat them against the odds with well, I think there was a bit of an injury crisis at the time as well. Mike Brown's debut had brilliant on that day. I think a win, we can really build the momentum, keeps us in touch with the top four. But if we lose, I think that's it. I think top four's gone. I think there's just, we can't afford to. We've already lost games we shouldn't have already, and I think there's just too many points to make up. There's a lot of good teams in the league now, and we've got some really tough away trips to come. Thinking of the likes of Quins, Northampton. Yeah, I think make or break our season this game. This is absolutely huge. Two sides that have struggled a little bit at the start of the season. Obviously, a lot to do with the World Cup, but obviously teams that are much better than they were at the start of the season. Obviously that away game against Saracens was when they brought all their World Cup stars back and we didn't, and we got absolutely picked off at the line out. We kept in touch, probably wasn't as big a loss as some of us expected, but yeah, this is it now. Two really good, strong teams on paper. And let's have a look at those teams. Tigers team, good to see, unchanged by one since last week. Backline, Stewart, Simmons, Kelly, Catter, Brown, Pollard, Whiteley. Yeah, what's more to say? Obviously injuries really affecting us. I was hoping maybe we'd see maybe one of Hassel Collins or Watson come back in, but that backline didn't let us down last week. Obviously Brown, great to see he's re-signed until the end of next season. I love the way the media team announced that. That was a good little thing from them to keep us thinking that we'd lost him, and then obviously yesterday we found out we hadn't. Simmons, I really hope he gets a bit more time on the ball. I thought in the few chances he did last week, he looked very good. Hopefully we can get him the ball a bit more, but it's a big game for Polly and up against Farrell. I think that's the massive head-to-head. Into the pack, Cronin, Montoya, Hayes, Martin, Chesham, Rogerson, Reffel, Visa. Again, what's more to say? Probably the strongest we can put out with the injuries we have at the moment. Going to be great to see Martin, Chesham again, their second start in the locks together. They were brilliant last week, both of them. Going to expect more of the same today. Coming up against an absolutely brilliant second row pairing that Sarries have got as well. Big game for Reffel. I can't expect there to be too many tries. I think penalties are going to be the difference, and if he can really attack that breakdown, that's going to be massive for us. Absolutely massive. But yeah, very solid. Onto the bench, Theobald Thomas, Van Veek, Hurd, Wells, Hatherall, Cracknell, Young, Shilcock. Bit of a shame not to see Cole. I think if he'd been back, that'd been great to have someone like that off the bench, but Hurd's not let us down at all this season. 6-2 but split on the bench again. Hopefully it can have a bit more of an impact as it did last week against Bath. They didn't really make too much impact. That could be massive. And it's great to see that we've got Ben Youngs on the bench, the only change from last week. Second half when the game is going to be tight, brilliant to bring someone with that experience, that nous off the bench. Onto the Sarri side, so Parton, Segan, Daly, Tompkins, Sinty, Farrell, Simpson make up their back line. There's a few injuries there, but it's still one heck of a back line. Segan is so quick, so speedy, got to keep him quiet. Daly, Tompkins, great centre partnership, but Owen Farrell's obviously the main man there. Obviously with the rumours that he could be moving to Racing, coming, was it yesterday or the day before? I'm expecting a big game from him. He's going to want to keep them quiet and just concentrate on his rugby. But yeah, very, very strong back line. Into the pack, Crean, Perfetti, Judge, Itoji, Tizard, McFarlane, Gonzalez, Earl. So after, the back five, that is probably their strongest back five they can put out. What's more to say, Itoji, Tizard, brilliant lock partnership with McFarlane, just an absolute unbelievable athlete. Gonzalez, a brilliant signing from Irish for them, and Earl, we all know what he did at the World Cup. It was absolutely brilliant, but it's that front three that I think we can really, really target today. I think they're on maybe their fourth, fifth choice, loose head, maybe third choice, tight head, and yeah, I think scrum time, they got mauled at the scrum last week against Newcastle. I think in the Rolling Wall podcast they had Charlie Clare on last week, and he was talking about maybe targeting the scrum by knocking on as one of the targets. I genuinely think that could be one of our game plans today. We want scrums because I think we can really target their scrum and eke out a lot of penalties, and that could be absolutely massive in the game. Obviously, set piece wise in the line out, they absolutely dominated us in the away fixture. Really got to tighten that up for today's game if we want to try and get a victory. But yeah, scrum time, I think that's what really, really is going to see who can come out on top. Onto the bench, Dan Mulipola, Hoskins, Ezekwe, Christie, Van Zyl, Vunipola, Lewington. It's going to be great to see Logo back in Welford Road. Not nice that he's wearing a Sarries top, but it's always good to see him out there. But yeah, again, very, very solid bench. Ezekwe, Christie, brilliant. Lock and back row pairing to bring off the bench. Dan, obviously very explosive. But Mulipola, I absolutely love him, but scrum time he can get found out. Hoskins, otherwise, he's a solid scrum option. But yeah, it is two teams that are struggling a bit of injuries, but still two very, very strong teams. As I already said, I think scrum is going to be massive, absolutely massive. If we can get the edge in the scrum time, I think we can come out on top. Otherwise, I really am not expecting too many tries. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. Both defences are very good, and I think it could come down to who's the better kicker. And if we look at the stats, I think Farrell is shooting at about 67%, while Pollard is up in the 80s. That generally could be the difference. Those two, I'm sure they're going to up their game because they know how big it is. It's going to be almost test match style game, lots of kicking. The breakdown's going to be massive. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. I would not be surprised if in the last few minutes the game still hasn't been decided. It could come down to a late penalty or late drop goal even. But prediction, I'm going Tigers by 3. I think we're just about going to do it. I think Pollard's kicking is going to be the difference for us, and the scrums, I think we will get on top. But this is massive. Absolutely massive. Make or break our season. Biggest game of the season so far. We hate Saracens, don't we? So it's always going to be a great atmosphere when they come to town. I think it's going to be a good crowd as well. Yeah, this is brilliant. This is what being a Tigers fan is all about. These huge games, lots on the line. Can't wait for it, eh? Tigers, Saracens, Welford Road. It's brilliant, isn't it? Cannot wait. Bring it on.